Get started. So Crystal, thanks for hitting the go button.
Yep, go ahead.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our add-on show and tell for September 2019. We're so excited to have y'all here. I'm just going to go ahead and very quickly share our agenda. There's still time to sign up if you've got something that you would like to show and or tell. So first, we're going to get started with Luca. Luca is going to share something about WebEx. So Luca, go ahead,
Yeah,
take it
sure.
away.
So if you want, you can play the screencast. Otherwise, everyone that wants to see it in action can look at the screencast. So basically, it's like not released yet, but it's going to be released pretty soon. And I want to anticipate that I tested it on Edge beta that is Chromium based, and that is also going to be supported by WebEx Run in the next release. Every Chromium based browser is going to be supported, but I didn't try it until today to run it on Microsoft Edge beta, and it worked. So it will be useful to developers that wants to include Microsoft Edge in the cross-browser support for their extension. And that's all. It will be released like this week or next. I just need to merge a couple of more pull requests and release the new version on npm. If you want to try, the Chromium extension runner is already merged, so you can build from the master branch of WebEx in the meantime. And that's all.
Luca, is the Chrome support for that also, has it already been released, or has that just been merged to the master and not released yet?
It is released, it's merged on master. It will be released in 3.2 that I'm going to release soon. Like, I hope to do it this week, but in the worst case, it will be in the start of the next week.
Cool, that's going to be huge. I think people are going to be super excited about that.
Yeah, it was a long time put here. I'm so happy that we finally merged it.
Yeah, don't look at the pull request history. That's true.
I think what matters is that it gets done. Very cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing that, Luca. That sounds really exciting.
Thank you. Next is Kumo, if there are no more questions, I guess.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so I just wanted to give a sneak peek of the commenting feature that I've been working on and I've talked a bit about. There's not like a lot to demo. Basically, I am just about to land the first part that will actually make it work. So there's been a lot of behind the scenes changes that have been sort of infrastructural things that we needed in order to start actually doing the integration. So commenting is something I've been working on for the add-on review team to use basically as they are reviewing add-ons that get submitted to AMO. So what they would do would be they would be getting a new version or a newly submitted add-on, and they would be probably running it locally, I would imagine, in most cases, but also just looking at the code, excuse me, looking at the code. And then they would have one of the views that we give them in this tool, that the add-ons code manager tool that you're looking at is a view of all the files, just with standard this list on the left, and you can click through and see the files. So here I am looking at a CSS file for this extension, and let's say I want to add a comment here to tell the developer something. So just sort of similar to GitHub, you could kind of scroll through and get a plus sign for where you want to leave a comment. And let's say that I was using this extension and I thought that the text was hard to read or something like that. So I could just leave a comment just like that. And it's kind of a contrived example because I think reviewers are more like looking for security problems and things like that. So, but that's the best I could think of for a demo. And you can also just keep adding more comments as you might expect. And that's really all there is to demo right now. So it's not going to be useful in this state. So what's going to happen is this is going to land behind a config flag until we can support the bare minimum, which is basically like giving them some way to finish a review. So they could go through here, like with this patch, they'll be able to go through to each file and then leave comments. But yeah, that's it. I wanted to also quickly demo another patch that is in review that has been submitted by a contributor who goes by Meyerfly on GitHub and who has been doing a lot of work on the code manager, which has been I've been really impressed by their work, and I just wanted to show this patch. So to set this up, I wanted to first show you what happens now in the code manager when you're switching files. So let's say that I want to browse quickly through these files here in this add-on. What I can do is I could use this keyboard shortcut. The J key will go down a file in the list. So it looks like this. As you can see, it's going through a list of files and it's loading them. And I have to wait a little bit for it to load. And I can go up with the K key as well. You can see that these files were already loaded. Once they're loaded, it's nice and fast. So what I'm going to do is attempt to switch branches in the background. I hope this works. And then I'm going to build a new branch. And switch branches, starting up the server. It's going to take a little bit. So basically, the feature that Philip, who used to do a lot of reviewing, had requested was, why not just preload the files so we can get a nice and quick, snappy load. So let's see, I think the server started almost. I'm going to refresh. So totally load, do like a cold load of this app. And what's happening now when I press the J key, okay, one of them was a little slow, but basically it's preloading in the background. So this is going to be a huge improvement, and it was actually a pretty simple patch for this to work. All right. There's some errors there, but you can ignore that. But yeah, so anyway, this is going to be a super cool feature. It's just going to make the app feel really snappy. It's about to land. It's under it needs some more tests, but it's going to get and be under review soon. And that's it.
That's really great, Kumar. Quick question. This preload will work as well from what I see in the GitHub issue. It will work as well for the next diff in compare mode as well, right?
Yeah. So that's going to be, and that's actually already in the patch. I asked them to split them apart just so it'll be easier to review. But it's going to be, it looks like that's going to land like right alongside it. Like maybe that'll be the second patch, but it's going to land too. Yeah,
that's really great. It will save a lot of time for reviewers for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, the only thing that we're not doing is it's still like the first load is still going to land you at the manifest file. So maybe, I don't know if you want to think about that and give some ideas, some feedback on that. Like, I'm not sure totally what to do, because Philip had said that he wanted it to maybe start at the first file in the list, but that might be like a localization file. So I'm not even sure if that's really helpful. And I don't know if reviewers like are going to want to go through every single localization file. So that needs some thought.
Yeah, for full review, I don't think it matters that much. In compare mode, though, it would be nice if it lands on the first file that got a div.
That's true. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's I think that one is less ambiguous. Yeah, that's true. Okay, we could do that.
Awesome.
Thanks.
I have a question about the commenting patch. Where are the comments stored? Are they stored in local storage or just in the DOM of the page or what?
Chris has been working on the API for that. So it is going to the database and everything. It's basically this idea of like a draft comment. It's associated with a version.
So each time you kind of type and press like the submit or whatever it is, it's actually send it doing the API call and AJAX request at that point and saving it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's been like a lot of behind the scenes work to be able to actually get to the point where I can render that form.
Cool.
Yeah, obviously I'd like a prototype of that, not hooked up to anything early on, but yeah, now it is, what I showed is actually hooked up to the API. And the idea that I'm thinking is that a very initial release will be maybe a little bit hacky, where we just kind of like post message text to the review form or something like that. I mean, it could be as simple as that, because really there's like the final step of submitting comments is still going to happen in DevHub for now, because that's already hooked up. There's like a big text field where you would be submitting all your comments to the developer.
Yeah.
I got a question regarding comments as well. Are those comments hardwired to a specific version, or do they somewhat move along with future versions in the future? For example, let's say I do a comment regarding maybe a security issue that could happen later on future version. Are those comments copied over for future versions as well?
The way I'm thinking about the review flow is that a reviewer is going to be reviewing a single version like at any given time. And that would be, the entire review would be submitted to the developer for that version. So to answer your question, I would imagine that you would do something like leave a comment that's like a general comment. Maybe there's going to be a comment box at the top of the screen or something that's like, for future reference, this might cause an issue, something to consider. Or if it's something really specific, like on a line of a file, then you could just add it there, and that would get submitted to the developer for consideration.
All right.
Is it technically possible for in a future iteration for review comments from a previous review to be shown in a later version, or once it's actually submitted, does it clear the old line by line comments?
The way that I'm not sure actually how it's going to behave, but what I'm thinking is that right now, for like the initial version, it would be basically like once the developer submits a new version, then that no more comments will be seen.
But will it shows in the compare mode, let's say, will it show, for example, on the left if it's the old version?
You mean when you're about to leave a comment, or when you're viewing comments?
When you're reviewing, when you're comparing a new build where in the last build there was comments in it. Would be nice to see, okay, yeah, there was this comment regarding the security issue, and that's how they fixed it. So we could see the comment at the same time.
Oh, right.
That will be a cool feature if like you wrote a comment like this is hard to read, and then to change it in the diff, and next one is like they change to a different color, and you can see the old comment. And
yeah something like
cool.
that.
Yeah, it gets a little tricky because I know early GitHub PRs had this problem where the comment would just disappear, if someone changed the code or deleted that code or like changed the formatting or something, so there probably needs to be, so I think in like the very near future that you probably won't be able to view old comments at all, because that's the easiest way to do it. But yes, in the future, we're gonna have to think of maybe some way to look through historic versions. I mean, we're gonna have an easier time than GitHub has, because we know it's all based on the version of that on.
Could it be something like we check that there are comments for previous version that are not resolved, assuming that there would be some kind of resolution explicit on the comment, and we could say previous version of this extension have comments that are unresolved, and only show them on the diff, like Sylvain was suggesting, so that the context still is the same. We just need to know which version was, which file, and which line, because that would not change, right? When the developers apply some changes, it push a new version. So it would be not the same version that changed, but a new one. So the context
maybe
of the original
just like maybe kind of having a resolved button would be helpful for reviewers, so that they can kind of make sure that they double check that something got addressed. That's all that kind of stuff is going to be, I think it'll be easier to start thinking about that and working on it once we have something that.
Yeah, definitely. By using it, you get better ideas of how it could work.
Right. All right, I have to remember how to unshare my screen. Stop share. Here we go.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Kumar. At this time, I'd like to ask if anyone else has anything that they'd be interested in demoing. Maybe something that's recently landed, or something that's maybe a work in progress that you think has been really cool. We would love to see anything else that y'all have been working on. Okay, I think that was 11 seconds, which is usually the time you should leave when asking for other thoughts. Cool. Well, then I think that's going to wrap up our September show and tell for add-ons. Thanks everybody for joining. Keep your eyes open for an update about the October meeting. There's a possibility that there is an overlap with MozFest in our next set meeting date, so we might be adjusting this meeting around that.
Live streaming from MozFest?
Oh my God, that would be amazing. I don't trust myself to be able to pull that off successfully. But yeah, keep doing awesome stuff. We'd love to see what you're working on next month. So take care, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, everyone.
Bye.